Splinter Cell was released in 2002 on Xbox and PC, but when it was released for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube, a different version of the game had to be made. Which version did you play? Let me know down in the comments. In this series, I go through all the differences between the two versions level by level. In this video, we will take a look at the level 4 oil refinery. If you like this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing. And let me know if I miss anything down in the comments. This level takes place on an oil rig in the Caspian Sea. Sam is tasked with collecting some important intel before the Georgians can destroy it. The mission takes place at 9:39 AM on October 27th, 2004. Which brings us to the first big difference between the two versions. The Xbox version taking place in the early morning at sunrise, and for some reason the PlayStation 2 version is at night with a full moon on display, despite the loading screen still saying it is 9:39 AM. Maybe the PlayStation 2 version is on Washington time, which would make it 6:39 PM Georgian time. Both versions have different starting positions, with the PlayStation 2 version starting you right in front of a ladder you're supposed to climb. The PlayStation 2 version also gets rid of this plank of wood that causes so many problems on the Xbox version. The rest of this section is exactly the same in both versions, including these two guys planting the explosives that blow up the bridge, who with some well placed long distance shots you can shoot for a data stick, but it's not that easy. I don't know why, but I prefer the nighttime setting of the PlayStation 2 version here, seeing the moon and the stars and the explosions looking so much better with the dark backdrop. Also, this shot is probably one of the most iconic moments for Splinter Cell. It's always one of my first memories whenever I think of the series. At the time, it really was one of the first examples of cinematic gameplay. When we load into the next area, we have another example of an atmospheric change, with again the PlayStation 2 version being better in my opinion. The PS2 version uses this red light that accents the shadows of this fan, which is just a really cool visual to begin with, compared to the very bland looking Xbox version here. It's another example of Ubisoft Shanghai making a few small changes to the level for the better. In the Xbox version, I didn't even know the fan was there until I used my night vision goggles. Things like this and the change to the nighttime setting really make this level pop a lot more. When we climb up and open the trap, we get an in-game cutscene showing the technician boarding the rig. On the Xbox version, you can see the two guards who will follow him enter, but on the PlayStation 2 version, you only see the technician board from the boat, and his guard detail meets him on the rig. Also, the model for the boat looks a lot better on the PlayStation 2 version, which checks out with the previous levels as vehicle models appear to have been upgraded in the PlayStation 2 version. Climbing up this rig is pretty much the same in both versions. Both have the same guard patrolling conveniently under this pipe, but in the Xbox version, there's a cutscene that shows fighter jets on their way to blow up the rig. I think this cutscene isn't in the PlayStation 2 version because they didn't want to re-render it with the night sky, and it's not as important as the technician leaving the boat. When we follow the technician upstairs on the PlayStation 2 version, we are met with another loading screen, which shows it is now 10:03 and the sun still hasn't risen, whereas in the Xbox version, it's a seamless transition. The missiles hit on both versions and we take out the first guard. As we turn the corner to the left, we see a gate on the Xbox version, whereas the PlayStation 2 version is open and has some crates and barrels blocking the door, which will come into play later on. As we go to the right, we go around the corner to the next section where both have the same guard on the cafeteria door. In the Xbox version, we have this extra guard patrolling who isn't there on the PlayStation 2 version, and the PlayStation 2 version also has this wall on the far side. In the cafeteria, we have the same layout, including the poster on the wall. It was at this point I realised that on the PlayStation 2 version, the technician only has one guard escorting him instead of the two in the Xbox version. Into the kitchen, we have again the same layout, with the Xbox version having a few extra props like this fire extinguisher and microwave, and a medkit on the wall, with the PlayStation 2 version being on the kitchen counter where the microwave would be. Both versions have this burner going strong though. As we head to the door following the technician, the PlayStation 2 version is once again a bit more barren, highlighting the memory issues with the PlayStation 2 version. Back out the door, around the corner, we have two pipes instead of the three on the PlayStation 2 version, and as we climb through, we get the same cutscene of the technician running up the stairs as his escort destroys all the evidence. The room itself has a different layout in both versions, with different shelf units used in the middle of the room. The Xbox version having 3 destroyed laptops instead of the 2 in the PlayStation 2 version. There's also 2 medkits on the wall in the Xbox version, whereas there's only 1 medkit on a shelf in the PlayStation 2 version. As you follow the technician, we get a cutscene of the helicopter being hit with a missile. In the Xbox version, there's 4 guys waiting with the chopper, and the PlayStation 2 only has 2. Although the chopper model once again looks better in the PlayStation 2 version. Then we see the technician running towards the stairs, and there's an extra guy in the Xbox version. We then have some changes to the layout. In the Xbox version, you have free reign over this layer of the level. You can walk around in circles until you reach the staircase, and you can even enter these crew quarters. In the PlayStation 2 version, the staircase is right in front of you, but there's a fence blocking it, and you have to circle all the way around, and the crew quarters are missing. It's just a U-shaped corridor. I think this is done to increase the pace of the level, as the technician himself doesn't move forward until you hit a certain trigger in the level, meaning there's no real rush to follow him. In the PlayStation 2 version, they try and rectify this by adding a timer, but either due to my emulator or a bug in the game, the timer didn't start until I had already picked up the briefcase. Once you head downstairs, we follow the technician. There's another difference in the layout due to the moving of the staircase, with the PlayStation 2 version having a gate and the technician entering from the left. The layout of the area is pretty much the same, it's just the staircase that has been moved from the Xbox version, which makes me wonder, why did they move it? The more I play these two versions, the more questions I have about the development process. Did they just cut down and edit the original, or did they make a new version and try to make it as close as they could? If anyone knows where I can find more information on this, let me know down in the comments. Back to this video, and when we follow the technician into the room, we're met with 2 doors. Remember the blocked door from before? This is where it becomes important. In the Xbox version, you have the option of 2 doors, one on the right and one on the left. Once you pick a door, a missile hits the room, making it difficult to move around. If you choose the door on the right and lockpick your way through it, you can continue through the gated area from before, whilst the missiles conveniently force you round the corner and you see the technician making a break for it back to his boat. You chase him down the stairs, through the level to see his boat has been blown to pieces. In the PlayStation 2 version, however, the door on the right is blocked by a barrel, and as we saw before, it's blocked from the other side, meaning you have to take the door on the left, which leads you outside to see the technician cowering down holding his briefcase, making for an easy capture and finish to the mission. This is likely because we had to load in the level before, meaning the boat wasn't actually loaded into the memory. This is confirmed by the staircase being blown to pieces. Both missions end when you pick up the briefcase. And that's everything I found different in the level Oil Refinery. There wasn't as much in this level as the previous level. If you haven't seen that, then check that out. Link will be in the description down below. But there was a few interesting level design choices that only added more questions to my huge list. If you like this video, then please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And thank you for staying to the end. If you're still here, then you are amazing.
Great job, Fisher. To make yourself scarce.